Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you. Hello there. Welcome to episode 68 of 15 Minutes of Genius. We are 2/3 of the way there to episode 100. I just want to give a big shout out to our producer, the man, the guy that's behind all of this. This looks like a real background. Could be a green screen. It's up to you to decide. And so, yeah, I won't move my hands. Now you can tell it's a green screen. So big plug to Mark Nicholas, Mark N. at ManhattanBeachStudios.net, who produces this entire thing, including special effects to make me look like I'm like Luke Skywalker and I lost my left hand. All right, so really humbled and honored to have our guest on today, Barry Turner. He is the founder of Lenny and Larrys, those delicious protein cookies that you see your local, pretty much every store that you go to, including 7-Eleven, Albertsons, Whole Foods, Sprouts, pretty much everywhere. He's also a former American gladiator, a mentor. He's an innovator. Everything above the line right there. So, Barry, how's it going, my friend?
Alex, doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm also honored to be speaking with you.
Definitely. So, great product. We were talking offline right before we started this that I remember seeing on my local 7-Eleven, God, probably almost 10 years ago. I can't remember when it first launched in 7-Eleven. But tell us more about your story about creating this product, what went into actually making it, why did you want to make it? Like protein cookies, did it start with that line? Like tell us the evolution of Lenny and Larry's and where it was before and really where it is now.
Sure. We started in 1993. So it's a long time ago. We were creating a protein brand. We really didn't know we were creating a brand or a category, but we were just really set on putting protein into baked goods. And it really started from me getting injured on American Gladiator. I snapped my bicep tendon on my, I did 8 shows, and I was chosen from an open casting call, which was, I'm the only one that was actually done that. I beat out over 300 people for the position of Cyclone. Long hair really dates me back in the 90s when long hair was really cool. I was a big dude, looked like a barbarian, and but I got injured really quickly on that show. There we go.
That was yesterday, right?
Yeah. That was yesterday. Yeah, I just did push-ups. So, but yeah. Hey, so listen, I'm having coffee with my best friend in Marina Del Rey, California, and it just hit me like a lightning bolt. I just said, why can't we put protein into baked goods? And we ran out, and we did it, and we didn't know what we were doing, Alex. And I think that was the beauty of being an entrepreneur, is when you don't really know what you're doing, but you know that you're doing the right thing. Kind of sounds strange, but we just couldn't hold back, and so we ran out that day on September 18th, 1993, and incorporated our business, and off we went to baking muffins first.
Right on. Yeah, it's really interesting you say that, because I think just kind of the guiding light with entrepreneurs is you don't really know exactly where to go, but a lot of it is just from gut, your gut instinct. Mm-hmm. This is the right direction. This is something that could be adopted in the market. So like, what were when did it hit you that this could actually be successful, right? You developed this, you came out with protein muffins first, and then eventually the protein cookies came. When did it hit you that you're like, I got something special on my hands that could actually become a big brand?
Well, it's funny as I look at your logo too. I think our logos sometimes they can be a little polarizing. They can be perceived as hokey, goofy. I heard it all. That that logo will never sell. It will never work. And so when somebody says that, you're just a little bit more determined to make it work. And so we hustled. It was hard. It was because this was pre-internet, and this was like knocking on doors, just one by one, and trying to knock down these accounts. But the hardest part about this, Alex, was educating consumers on the importance of protein, and also our products were fiber fortified, so we were so far ahead of what people were doing that it was hard. The first 6.5 years was really a struggle, and we had success. Don't get me wrong. We built it up, and had a little exit in 2001. But I wasn't happy that I sold my company. So fast forward to 2007, I actually rescued it, and then the real story started.
Wow. See, this is a lot of this going into this interview. Most of the time I prepare and I know a backstory about, about the founder, about the product. I knew nothing about the fact that you rescued it, bought it back pretty much, like took it back under your wings, I should say, and restarted. And so what was the condition of your company in 2007? Like what was happening after you left in 2001? And what happened over those 6 years between 2001 and 2007?
The gentleman that bought the company from me in 2001, Don Crouch, still had the company, and they were still doing some private label, but the brand was just non-existent. And so he had reached out to me at the end of 2006 and asked me. He and I stayed in touch. We're still really good friends, and we were back then. And he asked me if I would ever consider coming back. And so when he said that, it was just like, euphoria. I was just like, hell yeah. I knew now was the time to really do it, that the market was ready for what I had started in 1993. And so we literally sat down and game planned, and it was just, man, we were just off to the races. We tripled from what he was doing the first 11 months, we tripled our sales just during that first 11 months. And but we knew then we were building something completely different than even when I had it the first time.
Wow. And it just goes to show you that timing is really, really crucial with any kind of product. And it shows you that, you had obviously already strong success going into 2001 with a mini exit, but then retaking the reins and going at the helm in 2007 when plant-based protein, whey protein, it just became so big. So you probably saw just a meteoric rise, even bigger in 2007. So I want to talk to you about the logo. And because I'm a marketing guy, obviously with the logo of Genius that you mentioned earlier.
Yep.
So what is the idea behind the logo? I know you had long hair before. Is it a version of you? Is it someone else? And then my second question is Lenny and Larrys. Larry rhymes with Barry. So I'm curious where the name came from as well.
Well, being that you're a marketer, and I apologize for my dogs barking in my background. Hang on one sec. Sorry about that.
It probably doesn't like my voice. Yeah.
I got two of them, and they like to bark at everyone walking by a house. But so my partner was it was Benny and Barry of Lenny and Larrys, and our just ongoing joke we just never called each other by our real names. So
that was it.
Lenny and Larry's. It was that. I swear. And we just said Lenny and Larry. It rolled off the tongue better. Benny and Barry sounded like real people. Lenny and Larry sounded like characters.
Right.
And the hair was just we both had really long hair, like down to our waist. And all we did was we just had this idea of having this hair going straight up, and we laid down on like a piece of white paper and had a guy take the picture for the logo from a ladder, shooting straight down. So it was like you eat something and it was so good and just made your hair go like this. And that was it. And so it evolved over time, and that's what we see now is the actual logo. And so it's two heads, one set of hair, I guess, and that's the genius of that logo.
Yeah, totally geniused out. You can say that it was inspiration for us, maybe in my subconscious when we were creating the Genius logo, right? So going into the product, so you talked about you first did muffins. When did like the cookies become like the main centric product for Lenny and Larrys?
Great question. Even though we did start with a muffin, and we were doing cookies and brownies and granola and cheesecake and everything in the 90s, the cookies were part of it, but we were still kind of set on the muffins, and they had a short shelf life, so we were very limited on where we could really take those. And so we got into doing a lot of private label also for Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, the brand out here in California, the coffee chain. Mm-hmm. And so that allowed us not to ever take any money, and it also helped us fund what we were trying to build as a brand. The cookies really kind of came to be around like 2009, 2010 is when they really became the star of the show.
Nice. So it really looks like, you see this happen with a lot of other CPG products where, basically you have many different product lines, but usually there's one product line that just shines and becomes your main one. And so cookies was not your first one. What gave you the idea to do cookies? Was this the natural progression from doing brownies and muffins? Like why cookies among everything else?
Yeah, 100%, because we knew that more people ate cookies than they did muffins, right? So it
Right.
was, but then the most important thing is you had a better shelf life. So our product used to just be in like a clear package because we wanted people to see our hero product. So we had a label, and then we had like a backing, a board that we had all the nutritionals on, so you could still see the product. And we would display them in baskets to make them appear, like they were fresh made and things like this. But we had other retailers reaching out and saying like, hey, if you could really get a good shelf life out of this, we could bring this into say Vitamin Shop or GNC, or you can start shipping to some international people. And it was just like, okay, we have to take that cookie and now put it into film. We have to hide the cookie so the film better look good enough to still make people want to buy the product. And it's funny, my partner's son was terrified that we were going to destroy the business by putting that cookie into foil wrapping. And I told him, I said, we're either going to hit a grand slam with this, or I said, we're going to completely strike out and none of us are going to have a job. And I was willing to take a chance on swinging for the fences. And it worked like nobody's business. It was crazy what happened from there.
Yeah, that you did. Yeah, I think like the clear film, it does look homemade, but a lot of products were converting over to like being totally hidden behind the packaging. And as long as you have great packaging, great logo, great nutritionals, great call outs on the front, it doesn't really matter whether you can see the product or not. I mean, we had the same experience with Genius, where we used to have a clear bottle, but then you'd see the separation, you see the imperfections in the product. Unfortunately, fortunately, people buy with their eyes before their stomach when they're first trying
100%.
it. So we decided to cover up the liquid, but have more call outs and benefits on the label. And it ended up being, I wouldn't say a grand slam yet, like Lenny and Larrys, but definitely at least a triple for us. Maybe an inside the park home run,
Inside the park home run's good too, yeah.
I'll take it. Bounces once.
It still clears the bases, Alex, right?
Exactly. I took a couple of hits on the ground, just like me, but we ended up going over the fences. So, all right, well, we're running short on time. Wanted to go into our next segment. So, Mark, key it up. It is rapid fire questions.
Rapid fire questions.
All right. Here we go. So, were you prepared for this? Did you know we do this or no?
I was not prepared for this, but I'm ready. I can think on my feet really well.
Totally. That for sure. So, all right. So hopefully my phone doesn't run out of battery here as I'm going through these questions. So I'm have to start making them up. All right. Okay. So first question, NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Do I have to choose one of them?
You have to choose one, or you can say none, whatever you want to do. So it's none. If you're asking that question, it's none.
I'd say none, but I would say if I had to choose Backstreet Boys because they're a little bit older and it's closer to my generation.
There you go. And by the way, that's perfectly good, man. And I'm going to ask about 10, 15 questions. We're just going to blow right through it. First thing that comes to your head. First thing you do when you wake up.
Drink water.
It's a good one. Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times.
Snatch.
Nice. Is that Jason Statham? Yeah.
It is actually Brad Pitt. Yeah, Jason Statham, Brad Pitt. Yep.
Yeah, and Mark's like nodding at me. I guess apparently you love that movie. All right, so song you can listen to an unlimited amount of times.
Oh my God. Let's just go old school. Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven, man. So, favorite sport favorite sport to watch?
Pro football.
Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Google Meet? Which one can you actually stand?
I actually like Teams.
That's a good one. So it's been growing on me. My entire team is using Teams. They're forcing me on it. All right. Well, so what is your spirit animal?
It's got to be a lion.
Nice. I would agree with that. Window seat or aisle seat on an airplane?
For me, it's got to be an aisle seat.
Peanut butter or almond butter or neither?
Real simple. Peanut butter. Old school.
Omnivore, flexitarian, vegetarian, or vegan?
omnivore.
Do you like cold weather or hot weather?
I prefer cold weather.
Right on. And a couple more, LeBron James or Michael Jordan?
Listen, I'm from North Carolina. There's no one but Michael Jordan.
Tar
LeBron
Heels.
James is
Yeah, no, Michael.
Tar Heels, baby, yeah.
No comparison. Jordan is he's a coach on the court. He's a legend. 6 championships. No, he's untouchable.
6. That's our guy, yeah.
3 back-to-back, and then another 3 back-to-back. Who the hell can do that?
Let's go.
Ginger or turmeric?
Ooh, it's good. I like them both. I'd probably go turmeric.
And then last question, favorite food or drink? If you're stuck on a deserted island, you cannot say Genius Juice, and you cannot say Lenny and Larrys.
All right, that makes it difficult. Straight up peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I grew up with them. It's my fave.
Love it. All right, so that is rapid fire questions of Lenny and Larrys with Barry Turner, founder of Lenny and Larrys. Yeah, so
great audience. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, it's all virtual. They're back. All right. There's a nice mix of men and women in there. You know, it sounds like they're actually in the room. Maybe they are. So thanks, my man. Really good to actually, a lot of guests that we bring on, about half the guests, most of them I've met before, but you I have never met, never talked to. It's been all through LinkedIn, like watching each other in our posts. So it's really cool to finally connect with you. And a lot of times this is how I form like a lot of great relationships, like from LinkedIn, is like having these interviews. And then we end up just keeping in touch. So yeah, man, I really love to pick your brain.
Alex, thank you. Thank you, buddy. Stay in touch, please do. Like I'm really, I love what you're doing as well. I'm a fan of your brand, and so I was really excited. I was really excited when you reached out. So I'm honored to be on here and speaking with you.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you again, Barry. Really appreciate you being on the show, and take good care, man. Have a wonderful night.
Yeah, talk soon. See you, brother.
All right, so that is episode 68 of 15 Minutes of Genius with Barry Turner. I mean, Lenny and Larrys. Who hasn't heard of them? Amazing protein cookie. So we have guests on every single week. We post our interviews and our episodes every Tuesday and Friday. So make sure to tune in. And also a big plug again for Mark Nicholas, Mark at ManhattanBeachStudios.net for all your editing desires. And one last thing, stay genius, my friend.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.